Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and it looks like we gotta talk a little bit about Doctor Who, the 15th Doctor, and the ratings. Because the ratings are in the toilet. And before all you little Disney weirdos and stuff want to jump in and say, hey, Disney Plus numbers aren't in it. They're not in it because they don't give their numbers. But we can find out where it comes in when you see it charting on the likes of the Nelson ratings and stuff and Samba TV. And guess what's not on there? That's right, Doctor Who, the 15th Doctor. So, and by the way, the cope for this show is unreal with some of these outlets. Like Collider put out an article claiming that one of the ratings of the show was the best ever in the history of Doctor Who for this season. Yeah, that 2.62 million overnight they claimed was the highest ever ratings for Doctor Who for this season. And that's the thing, they did have to mention that it was for this season, because it's not. And how higher was it for this season to make it an all-time high? 2,000 extra people. Yeah, because the very first episode of this new season was a 2.60 overnight. So it gained 2,000 people. And ironically, the episode that got this boost, number one, is the episode after Moffat came back. So everybody knew those ratings would probably go up a bit. But it also happens to be the episode that didn't have the Doctor in it. Ncuti Gatwa wasn't in it. But then its total collapsed again because it went down to 3.77 million for the 7-day total. Episode 5 then came in with one of the worst, because it came in with 2.12 million overnight, with an overall 10-day a massive drop to a 3.10 million. Then episode 6 happened, and episode 6 and episode 7 we only have the overnight numbers, and they are terrible and just get worse. So episode 6 overnights were a 2.11 million, down 1,000 from episode 5. However, episode 7, the latest episode, has hit rock bottom basically, because it's a 2.02 million overnight. We are looking at episode 8 possibly being under 2 million. That would be terrible. And don't forget, for some reason, they're going to put, I'm not sure if it's episode 8 or the special, or maybe both, but they're going to put them in the cinema. Why would you do that? But let's have a look at this. So, according to Doctor Who TV rating, The Legend of Ruby Sunday only brought in 2.02 million viewers overnight in the United Kingdom. Of note, this episode saw the return of male actor Yasmin Finley, who believes he is a woman and plays the so-called transgender character Jason Noble. The poor ratings come in the wake of the show's 5th episode, Dot and Bubble, having the worst ratings of the entire season after a full week across all devices, with just 3.38 million. Its overnight rating were 2.12 million. So that 3.38 million, it told you there, that's across all devices. So when people want to also try and chime in and say, oh, it doesn't have the ITV player and stuff like that, yes it does. So the 6th episode, Rogue, had overnight ratings of 2.11 million. Weekly ratings for this episode have not been released yet. The previous worst performing episode was in overnight ratings. In overnight ratings was the 3rd episode, Boom, which garnered 2.04 million viewers and eventually brought in 3.58 million after a week. Science fiction novelist John Del Arroz reacted to the poor ratings, noting it was just a nonsensical, boring episode like usual. There was no drama, no reason to care about anything that's going on. They're trying to hype up this mystery of Ruby Sunday as something that like you should care about, but they failed to do so because they failed to make you connect with the character whatsoever. They were busy having this gay black doctor prance around and do musical numbers rather than actually give you any reason to care, and fans turned out. So, that's quite the statement and review there from that guy. Clearly, just like, yep, it's dog shit. But then you even have this. Doctor Who showrunner admits ratings for the show are trash and hence it could be scrapped. Now, while he does admit, yeah, the ratings aren't what they want, that they're not great, he does say they have achieved exactly what they set out to achieve. Yeah, that's what you call cope. So Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies admitted that the ratings for the latest Doctor Who season are not good, and even hinted that the entire show might be scrapped following the already greenlit second season. Now this is the thing. He talks about Disney have kind of pressed pause at the moment on releasing the second season of this, even though it's filmed. Yeah, it's not like they're waiting for a green light to go and work on it. They've filmed it. It's done. It's ready to go. So, as reported by Doctor Who TV, Davies spoke with Radio Times about the show's disastrous ratings. The first episode, Church of Ruby Road, which debuted on Christmas, had overnight viewership of 4.73 million and garnered 7.49 million after a week. Yeah, it wasn't shit after a week. It took them 2 weeks to get those numbers out. Talk about your fiddling around. The episode had the second worst debut for any Doctor and were the worst of any Christmas special. It did not get any better from there. Space Babies, which aired in the middle of May, only had overnight viewership of 2.6 million viewers in the United Kingdom. After a week, it only reached 4.01 million. The worst performing episode in overnight viewership so far was the third episode, and we've gone through all these numbers. On top of the show doing abysmally in the UK, it has not even charted on the Nelson charts a single week in the United States. The show airs on Disney Plus in North America. Davies reacted to this terrible viewership, telling Radio Times, "I'm very proud of it. You know," now he's obviously not very proud of the ratings, but "I'm very proud of it. You know, they may not be the ratings we love. We always want higher, but they are building over the 28-day period. Episode 1, Space Babies, is already up to 5.6 million and counting. So it is getting there." No, and he's also calculating up all the numbers combined. That's not individual. He then touted how the show was allegedly reaching younger audiences with its blatant woke propaganda. "I was brought back in to bring in a youthful audience. That's been massively successful." Has it? Where? How can you say you've brought in massive amounts of younger viewers and yet your ratings are absolutely in the toilet? That doesn't add up. Doesn't make sense. So Davies explained the audience no one ever gets are the under 30s. They just don't watch television anymore. But those figures are astronomical for Doctor Who. It's their top program in that bracket. Prove it. You know, they always sit there and say this shit, but they never actually show you the numbers or the data that proves that, because there's no one watching it. Again, if they manage to capture all the under 30s, the way he said they don't even watch TV, but we got them, we captured them for Doctor Who, your ratings would not be down in the low 200 million. No. You would be way up there in the 7 and 8 point whatever millions. Not 2.02 million. And almost guaranteeing that this thing will drop under 2 million by next week. So how are you sitting there saying that these are good? That, like, it makes no sense. Your ratings are abysmal. Your show is abysmal. And the fact that Disney have now not set a release date or anything for season 2, and you're saying, they might pull the plug on this, even though you filmed a season 2. That's kind of speaking volumes. But there you go. What we've all been saying, you're clearly seeing happen right before your very eyes in the ratings, that this show is done for. It's dead. They've killed it. Much like Star Wars and Star Trek, Doctor Who has been yet another science fiction franchise beloved by many for decades, has been laid to rest at the hands and the altar of agenda. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.